I mean,
the Gashmi. Yeah, the Gashmi has a real has a reality. There's it's real. It's not circumstantial, so to speak. It really belongs there. It really has a meaning. And the Nefesh HaMeskel is consensus Mahus HaRuchni, which we cannot understand.
So to ask about it, it's not the way to go.
I don't think it's something we could really describe directly. It's something that we can understand what we don't know about it, maybe. Where do we start? Let's go inside. It'll be easier if we go inside. Otherwise we're just talking around, flying around.
Well, that's how I feel I am right now. I can't...
Where do we start? Where page are we on?
Lamed. And we were 4 lines from the end of the main paragraph.
Should we try to get a running start?
Sure.
Running start.
Okay, run to the door.
Why don't we start from the beginning of the paragraph, from your Dalit? That way we could we'll just go quickly. We'll go over it again. Yeah?
It's okay with me.
David?
That's where I'm starting.
Alright, let's do it. At the beginning of the ice. V'yuvan zeh l'mayla. V'yuvan zeh. What are we understanding? Now we gotta go back to the last one. V'yuvan zeh l'mayla al derech. Just remember what we were talking about.
Exchanging, like how Chesed and Gevurah can end up as you have it. Yeah.
Right, the last paragraph, the last one talked about achlifu dichtayu. That there's in Oros itself, there's the Chesed and the Gevurah of the Oros. Okay, here we go. V'yuvan zeh l'mayla. We'll understand this. Now that was all in the realm of seichel, and now we're going to understand l'mayla. We're going to the nimshal. Al derech maimer azal shtoik kach ala b'machshava. According to what it says, the sages say that the shtoik, quiet, kach ala b'machshava. This is what arose in the thought. To the cha'ira mashma she'ein lezeh tam klal. So at first glance, this implies that there's no reason at all for this. Aval be'emes chalila loy markein. But in truth, it's can't say. It'd be terrible to say such a thing. She'ein zeh b'derech ikshus chas v'shalom. This is not in the way of ikshus. This is not ikshus like stubbornness, chas v'shalom. So this is talking about the asara haruge malchus, that the who is it Moshe Rabbeinu said, this is their Torah, these are the people that dedicated themselves to Torah, and this is the reward that they get. And Hashem answers, kach ala ashtoik, quiet, kach ala b'machshava. So
what was the answer? Shtoik?
Shtoik, quiet. In other words, I can't give you an answer in seichel.
Oh, right.
Seichel will not suffice to answer this.
What? Mistreating people? What is
Shh. But this on the other. So this implies that the first way that you might read this is the way I want it. Don't ask any questions. But that's not what it is, because that would be derech ikshus. That would be like you're completely, we're in two separate realms and you have no shaykhus to this whatsoever. Just do what I say robotically, and that's it. Just accept it, accept the fact. And that's not what we're talking about. But rather, what is this then? What is the shtoik? What's the significance of this shtoik? El shezeh inyan tam hakamos shelamayla me'aseichel v'achachma. This is the inyan of tam hakamos. This is why we're talking about tam hakamos. This is the inyan of tam hakamos, the hidden reason, which is higher than seichel and chachma. So there is a reason. There's a tam. There's a taste, but it's higher than seichel. So what good is that?
Taste is like that.
What good is that if it's higher than
You can't
seichel?
explain a taste.
Yeah. It's a very fundamental kind of a thing.
Why do you ask the question, why? What's the benefit of that? Why do you say that?
Well, I guess the reason why I said that is that when you think of reason, it's something that you could, relate to, understand, and seichel, chachma, that you have a relationship. Tam kamas, it's like preceding. It's hidden. So, what kind of reason is that? What kind of? It's not something that's going to satisfy. It's not going to give you an answer to the question that you have. What is it? Zu, Torah, zu, schayra. The answer that I'm going to give you is not going to satisfy you in the realm of seichel. It's not going to be a seichel-dik answer. It's something that's higher. V'alpi seichel ein lezeh tam klal. And according to seichel, there is no tam at all. Ad shelo haya loy makom b'seichel al zeh. There's no place in seichel for this. That's why you can't. That's why the answer is shtaik.
What?
V'shal v'chi, and he asked v'chi zu Torah v'zu schayra. Is this the Torah and this is the schayra? This is their Torah and this is the reward. Zeu inyan ha'or shel ha'chachma kamay shehu l'mayla mikli ha'chachma. So what is this tam kamos? This is the inyan of the or of chachma, the way it is higher than the keli of chachma. The im hiyoseh chachma v'tam, that even though it is chachma and tam and taste or reason, mikol macham l'gabi ha'chachma v'aseichel shu kli ha'chachma. Nevertheless, when compared to chachma and seichel, which is generally the keli of chachma, nira keilu hu ratzon b'litam. This appears as if it is ratzon b'litam, without any kind of reason whatsoever, without any kind of taste. V'im kein hu mufshat megeder kli hachachma. And if so, it is mufshat. It is completely removed from the gather of kli hachachma, shehu seichel, which is seichel. So this is something that we talked a lot about. That chachma v'seichel. This chachma v'haseichel, like it goes together. Chachma v'haseichel is the aspect of chachma that is trying to remember how he explained this.
That's how he's referring to the before we spoke that there's the oil and there's how the oil comes in the kaila. So in the previous paragraph was speaking about the oil, how it is in itself before it's the slavish and the kaila. So the same thing here. He's speaking about it comes to the nefesh of Askelis, how the nefesh of Askelis understands it, and how it comes in the goof. And this Tamar Komas means the one which is higher than the Kaila. And that stage, it's completely a different thing, and we're not able to relate to that.
Yeah. And the chachma v'aseichel, this is referring to the chachma at the level of the keli, which he's going to say later is like the keli, which is like the seichel in the mayach. Okay. Does anyone else remember? I remember he emphasized those words about chachma v'aseichel, that they go together.
Because he's saying, Kaila Chochma Shehi Seichel. The Seichel is referring to the Kaila. And the Chochma Seichel, before the Chochma Betam, that's before it's being established in the Kaila.
Are you looking at the line that starts with Shehu L'mayla Mikli HaChochma?
Yes.
Even though it's Chachma V'Tam, which is referring to the or of Chachma, nevertheless, compared to Chachma and Seichel, which is referring to the Keli of Chachma, the way the Chachma is mislavish in the Keli, which is Kli HaChachma, Nira Ki'ilu Hu Ratzain B'li Tam. It appears as if it's a Ratzain without any kind of Tam. But nevertheless, it is not Ratzain. We had a whole discussion about the difference between Ratzon and Chachma. It's not Ratzon. Ki'ilu.
Because the way how Chachma stands in itself without a Kaila, for us, in compared to how it is, the Kaila is Ki'ilu and B'litam. No erach one to that.
Right. And I just to, I know we're trying to get through this quickly, but what I remember we had a whole discussion about the difference between Ratzon and Chachma, where Ratzon is like, Ratzon does not have a tam, meaning Ratzon is just like the way it is. He gave a mashal of something that is supported by the floor, like something that's laying down on the ground, versus something that's supported by a pivot. Ratzon is like it's supported by the floor. It's like you can't really say that it's supported. It's just like one with the floor. It's just one in it's like fish in the sea. They're constantly laying down. They're in their environment. They are, one with the sea. Whereas something that's supported by a pivot, it's a separate thing, but its whole support is derived from the inyan of the ground. But you can identify that they're connected by a nakuda, by a point. So in Chachma there is a recognition of the significance, or there's a recognition of the inyan that is coming to the entity, as opposed to Ratzon. You just this is just how it is. It's just it's just in the environment. I don't know if that's clear.
Right. I think it's that you're talking now about Ratzon and Chachma, how it's the form is established in the Kaila.
Just like what the essence of the essence of what how Ratzon differs from Chachma, because here you have some things that.
Right, but which Chachma are you talking? You're talking about Chachma before it's established in the Kaila.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Sure. So Ratzon is more like the nefesh itself. It's like I think you gave the most of the Yama and the Yabusha. Ratzon is what it's expressing what the nefesh itself is saying. Chachma is already explaining it.
Right.
Recognition, like you said, it's more on the outside. It stands more on the outside. The Ratzon is it is what it is.
Right. Okay. So.
What do you mean it is what it is?
That's what the nefesh is. Chachma is explaining what the nefesh is. Ratzon is expressing what the nefesh wants.
There's no justification. It just is it.
This is like what he just said, like the dry land creatures versus the sea creatures. The sea creatures are like mute. They don't have any praise for Hashem. Why? Because they are godly. They're not expressing godliness. They're not explaining it. But where the dry land creatures are separate, they're completely separate from, but yet they can praise because they stand on their own, and yet they are also can express the inyan of this inyan. Okay, let's go weiter. Let's try to get. So zeh inyan ora. Okay, so we're on the line. Shehu l'mayla mikli hachachma. T'im hiyoser chachma v'tam. That even though it is chachma and tam, mikol makom l'gabe hachachma v'seichel shehu kli hachachma. Nevertheless, compared to the chachma v'seichel, which is like the vessel of chachma, the keli of chachma, nira ki'ilu hu ratzon b'li tam. This tam hakamas appears as if it is ratzon b'li tam. If there's no reason. V'im kain hu muvshad migeder kli hachachma. It's completely removed from the kli hachachma shu seichel, which is what we know as seichel, which is seichel. V'hainu gam mehaor. This is in the parentheses. Gam mehaor hamislavish bekeli. It's even removed from the or the way it is mislavish in the kli. Ki haor ka'asher mislavish bekli, because the light, when it is dressed in the keli, harehu kamoi hakli, it is like the keli. Lahavin ulahasig ma sha'akli yoichle lahasig. It to understand and to grasp what the keli is able to grasp. Like chachma in the brain, seichel can only relate to something that has time and space, because it's in the brain, which is physical, which is in time and space. So it cannot understand things that are completely removed from makom and zman. Ve'etzem ha'or muvshad mizeh, but the etzem of the or is muvshad. It's removed from this. In other words, the etzem ha'or can even relate to things that are completely beyond time and space. Hagam shu gam kem chachma. Even though it is chachma, it can still appreciate, relate to things that are completely beyond makom and zman. That's the ora chachma. Harei al derech kamoy aseichel shebemayach legabe aseichel shebenefesh hamaskeles. And this is similar to seichel. The difference, the way that seichel is in the brain, compared to seichel that's in the nefesh hamaskeles, in the nefesh itself, the nefesh that has seichel. The way before it is dressed in the goof. Shehu seichel, but even though it's not even in the goof, it's still seichel. Shehu seichel lahasig mahus haruchnias mamish. It's seichel to grasp mahus haruchnias mamish, the reality of ruchnias. This is a hasaga hal yoina, the higher grasping. Okay, so this gets into the whole discussion of mohos. Starts where we start talking about mohos, and let's see if the Rebbe puts more flesh on it. Ukamoi hasagas hamalachim shemasigim mohus haruchnias. This is like the hasagas of the malachim. They grasp mohus haruchnias. Hainu mohus haruchni debiyah. Ukamoi, and also like hasaga b'davar she'ena v'vechinas makom zman, like something like the hasaga of something that is not in makom and zman. So we're pointing to a kind of seichel, and this is, I think this is the important thing that Rabbi Paltiel wanted to stress when we started talking about this. This really points out that seichel is not a reaction to physical circumstances. Seichel is not how to figure things out based on what happens in the world, and then using your intelligence to figure things out. Because if that were the case, what are we talking about? What kind of seichel is there beyond makom and zman? That has nothing to do with world at all. So seichel is something that originates. It comes from the Maila.
When you ask the question, what are we talking about? You're asking a question on the lowest seichel. You're asking a question on.
If we think that seichel is a manipulation of things that happen in the world and figuring things out in the world, then what would we be talking about when we point to seichel higher than makom and zman? There's no world. There's nothing to manipulate. But yet we still say yes. Over there's seichel. There's chachma. So Rabbi Paltiel is pointing out that seichel is not. This is not what seichel is. It's not about manipulating the world. It's about relating to the truth of the Creator, of God.
We see this in the Mahusa Ruchni because this is what
we see this in the sense that there is seichel that's higher than makom and zman.
This is the hasaga of Mahusa Ruchni.
Yes, that's right. That is right. The nefesh hamaskelas can relate to Mahusa Ruchni. Yeah, the hasig mahus haruchnius. Yeah, just like the malachim, something that's higher than makom and zman. But kol shekein hasagos hanashamas began Eden. So the malachim can understand this, and how much more so the hasaga of the neshamas in Gan Eden shemasigim mahus haruchnius, who do grasp mahus haruchnius. There's a whole reality. The whole reality is ruchnius. That's the orientation.
Do you understand that phrase mahus?
It's right. Like let's understand it by comparing it to Mahusa Gashmius. Mahusa Gashmius would be that our whole orientation is Makom and Zman. It's Gashmius. Everything we understand is related to this fundamental. What we see is the fundamental reality of a world of Gashmi, whereas the nefesh itself and malachim.
When you say fundamental reality?
Yeah.
You're talking about its significance, its creator. What are you speaking about?
The way I think about it is everything we think about is always in terms of world. It's anything that we can perceive in our seichel that's in our brain is in a worldly context, and it's in a physical context.
Okay, but when you say the words fundamental reality,
yeah,
are you going beyond that?
No, that just means like that's our base for understanding. That's our whole fundamental. I mean, like our context.
So you're not speaking of the mahus of this fundamental reality.
I'm saying mahus is synonymous with fundamental reality.
But I understood that the mahus it takes you to its origin, not it itself.
How can you have mahus hagashmi? Means that there's a reality to this gashmius, right? It's true that there's a meaning to it. Because there's a creator, but you relate to the gashmius.
That's not the mahus.
That is, but it's pointing to the reality of the gashmius. In other words, as the gashmius, this world is really significant.
As the gashmius is the departure point from which you understand the creator. This creator is not part of this process at all. I'm trying to catch.
When you go up to the mountain and you see a panorama, and that panorama is like you see that you don't have to touch all these things. You see that you're seeing a reality in front of you. Why do you see that there's reality in front of you? Because there's a creator that's showing you the reality. But you see the reality. That's what you see that this is real. When I look at you, I see a real person. There's a reality there that we're in a real world. That's Mahus HaGashmius.
So that's a world based on Gashmius.
No, it's not based on Gashmius. It's a world in our context is Gashmi. The basis is higher, but that's why it's real.
So what's the kunz of Mahus HaGashmi? Is there a kunz there? Or that's just that's it. That's the plain, simple fact of day-to-day life.
I think that's our orientation. That's our context. That's what we grasp Mahus HaGashmi.
And a scientist grasps Mahus. When Rabbi Paltiel speaks of the errant look of
they don't have Mahus at all. They have Messias HaGashmi. They have all they have is the physical reality. They have
empirical.
Just
what
the chumrius. What Rabbi Paltiel says, the chumrius. They just have
so
what you can measure, what it tastes like, there's no significance to it.
So Mahus shows on significance?
That it's real.
That it is real. What does that mean? That it is real? Meaning, it's obviously different from the scientists like Shlomo Yonason just said, who empirical evidence,
in other words,
measured evidence.
In other words, right, Paltiel gave the example of a car, right? Is the reality of the car the fact that that wheels can move, and machine parts can move together, and this electrical system connects to this, and it's fired up? I mean, is that the reality of the car? Or is that the metzius of the car? That's just what the car, the parts, what you can measure. What's the reality of the car? The purpose of the car. The fact that we can go from here to here.
Okay,
That's the reality. That's
the origin of that is the person himself, the human being. His invention.
No, that's the reality of the car. The reality of the car is that it can transport human beings.
That's its mahus.
Yes.
So that mahus doesn't go to the point that it's coming from the human soul. That's a different.
It does, but it does. I mean, you wouldn't have a mahus if it didn't come from. If it wasn't coming from a human soul, but the mahus is that it's at least the way I understand it. I could
its
be wrong.
purpose within a physical context.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's like looking at physicality so acutely that you see the purpose and you don't lose track of it. Like the car, you always have in focus what it was for, and that's the essence of it. In contrast to the race car.
That's it for today, guys. Pray for me. Next time.
Rabbi went away?
Yehuda.
Yeah.